Hey everyone, today we're going to build another cool project for your portfolio. It's an online chat app using Flask SocketIO. We will write the backend with routes, forms, and events, create a front end with a clean, dark macOS style design, and finally deploy it so you can chat with your friends, if you have any. A quick 20-second overview. There is a main file called chat that handles routes through blueprints to open specific chats. For authentication data, there is a file called forms. The file events contains the chat logic, and all of this connects to the front end. You've already seen the design, so let's move on to the code. First, let's create all the necessary files and install the required libraries. We'll write the main file and the initial functions. For production, you'll need to adjust a few lines, such as the domain and the port where the server runs the application. Then we will create the first route for the home page. Okay, let's create the forms file for the login form and write the starting page so we can run the project. Flask uses a special syntax called Jinja for the front end. If you want to deep dive into Jinja, let me know in the comments. The design isn't great yet, but we'll add the styles at the end. We won't focus on errors right now. Our goal is to keep moving forward and gradually build the project. First, we'll add another route that will handle the chat page. This will allow users to enter specific rooms and communicate within them. After that, we'll work on the layout for the chat page itself. The design of the page will follow a macOS style to create the feel of a native application. In the top left corner, we'll add 3 familiar colored circles that are typically used to manage windows on macOS. We'll also provide them with basic functionality. The main part of the page will include a text block for displaying messages, an input field for typing, and a few buttons. Great, we've finished working on the layout, so now it's time to move on to the functionality. Let's start by writing the logic that will handle displaying messages in real time. We'll make sure that every new message appears instantly in the chat without requiring a page reload. Next, we'll add support for the enter key so users can quickly send messages without having to click the send button. We'll also implement dynamic updates to keep the chat alive and responsive, ensuring all participants see new messages as soon as they're sent. On top of that, we'll add a few extra features to improve usability. These include a function to leave the chat room and return to the home page, a button to copy the chat link, and a shortcut to the project's GitHub repository. This will give us a fully interactive and user-friendly chat experience with all the core features in place. Now let's move on to writing events. This is where we'll tackle the core logic of the chat and its functionality. We'll define events for adding a user to the chat room, sending messages, and leaving the chat. These events ensure that when a user joins, they're properly registered in the room, and when they send a message, it's broadcast in real time to all participants. Users should be able to join a room, send messages, and see them instantly appear in the chat window. This is the key step where the project starts to feel alive. Now time for some styling magic. So this is the project we've built. To start chatting, you just need to enter your name and the name of the room. The app tracks who joins and leaves the chat, shows who sent messages, and even displays the time each message was sent. Let's take a look at how it all works. We also need to deploy the app, but it's really simple. Just clone the repository, change the domain to your own, and run the project on render. This was an online chat app built with Flask. If you enjoyed this kind of project, leave a like, fork the repo, and share your own improvements. Also, drop your project ideas in the comments. I'd love to see what you want me to build next. All the source code is linked in the description. Subscribe so you don't miss the next project. See you in the next video.